What's up, everyone? It's your boy Noah Radd 89 here, bringing you another video. For today's video, we're going to catch up on some horror movies that I didn't review from last year. I'm waiting to catch some films this year. I know Megan's out, missing out on that one. I'm not going to go check that one out in theaters. I want to see that one, but I'm not going to go check it out in theaters. If any film that comes out in January that I'm going to go check out, it's going to be Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg, which drops on January 21st. So if I do go see any movies in theaters, be sure it's going to be that film. So like I said, today we're going to catch up on some films from last year, and one of them is a film that a lot of people were highly talking a lot of positive things about, Revealer, and this is a film that's currently streaming on Shudder. That's where you can check it out. So today we're going to get into my positives, negatives, the rating, then I'm going to send you all home. So let's do this. Roll it. Revealer is a 2022 horror film directed by Luke Boyce, and it's about two characters. One is Angie, who is a stripper, and another character named Sally, who is a protester, and they both get trapped in a peep show booth inside a building while the end of the world is basically going on outside. So it's like Old Testament end of the world status stuff. So let's get into the positives right now. And in terms of positives, I love the fact that it's dated in the 80s. I'm a period piece type guy. I love the 90s and 80s. So those are my favorite times to go back to. And even in films, when a film is set in those time periods, that's easily one of my favorite things about it. The colors also in this film, being that they're trapped in a peep show booth room, and it's just basically two rooms for a majority of the film, that it has cool colors and a cool aesthetic to it. And I like the way that Luke Boyce handles the film, because you could definitely tell it's a low budget type film that's going for just kind of a skimmed budget, kind of, two rooms, hallway status. Like, there's very few locations in this film, and like I said, predominantly, like, the most of the film takes place in like this peep show area. They do escape and get to other parts, and like there's a beginning part and stuff like that, but mainly it's just them two, and you're dealing with the dynamic between Angie and Sally for most of the film. Another cool thing about this film is the gore effects. When the gore effects do get going, and it's not the best, like off the charts, like a lot, but it does look pretty cool. And it's CGI effects, most of it, but it does look pretty cool. There are some practical effects mixed in with the CGI, but I definitely would have appreciated some more gore. That's kind of a negative. I would have appreciated some more intense gore for sure, but in terms of like budget, you could definitely tell they restrained them, kind of thing. Another thing is the music. I think the music is bomb-tastic for real. Like the soundtrack, it definitely has that 80s synth vibe, keyboards and guitars and stuff like that. So it has that vibe going on. You can tell Luke Boyce has a style that he was trying to imprint on the film. You know what I mean? It definitely has a flavor to it, this movie. And you're dealing, like, the two actresses, I think they do a fine job with their characters. In terms of writing, we'll get to that in the negatives, but I think they do a fabulous job with their characters inside the film. Now let's get into the mixed and negatives. And one mixed aspect that's kind of leaning more towards the negatives than positive is the writing. The characters did get a little bit daunting because we spend most of the time with just these two girls. So you need them to carry the film, and their dynamic. And at a point, it did get tiresome. So about, I would say, probably like towards the end of the second act, going into the third act, I got a little bit tired of the dynamic between the girls, and I wanted something else added to the film. And it's one of those movies now we're leaning more towards negatives, that I feel like it has a strong message that they're trying to go for, the writers and director and stuff like that. And the message kind of overshadows the actual storytelling, which I think is not a great thing for me. Like, I can understand films that have a message and they're trying to kind of, extend their message and put it on screen, but it doesn't have to overtake your characters or the story you're trying to tell. And for this film, I felt like it was more message than story. And like I said, the fact that we spend time with these two characters and the low budget, that kind of, you can feel in this movie. You know what I mean? Some films, you watch a low budget film, kind of like Terrifier 2 or Terrifier, and you're astonished by what they're able to accomplish with that money. This film is like, oh, you can tell that there's a better film with inside of it. Like, if they could have got just $300,000 more or $500,000 more, this film would have definitely climbed higher or had a better rating for me because of the capabilities of what they would have been able to do with that money. So definitely having a low budget, you can feel it, and it kind of holds this movie back a bit. Another aspect of this film that will go into mixed and negatives is, like I said, gore. I definitely needed more gore. I kind of brought that up already, which it looks cool, and I like the CGI. I didn't think it looked bad, and the practical effects were bombastic, but it definitely was a film that I needed more happening. I needed more death, more gore, all that kind of stuff in my film. And that's just kind of my personal taste. There's certain films I can handle, like PG-13 or very mild R rating type status, but with this film, and you're talking about the end of the world that's apparently going on outside of this building, yeah, I needed some more gore in this movie. And like I said, Revealer is currently streaming on Shudder. That's where you can check this film out. Another kind of mixed or negative with me was the landing spot for this movie. We get a very kind of, I don't want to spoil it too much. Spoilers, if you don't want, click ahead 10 seconds, is a very ambiguous ending, and it just didn't handle it very well. I've seen other films do ambiguous endings, and they land it much better than this film. But overall, in my book, Revealer is going to get a 6.5 out of 10. This is one film that I appreciate the style, the aesthetic, and like I said, what they were going for, the director, and you can definitely tell he has a certain flair that he likes to put on screen, and the characters were cool to an extent, but I think the writing definitely hurt the characters, and the overall pace of the story also hurt the characters as well. So I was really hoping I would really enjoy this one a lot more. A lot of people, like across the board, were saying Revealer was on their top 10. I saw multiple YouTubers that had Revealer on their top 10 or top 20 of the year in terms of horror movies. So I was like, I have to check this out. Hadn't seen it. And yeah, it's definitely kind of missed the mark for me in a lot of aspects. I had fun with it, and there was some enjoyment I could have with this one. And I would definitely try to return to this one to see how my feelings are on a second watch. But as it stands right now, a 6.5 out of 10 is where I'm going to land on this movie. But thanks for sticking around with me all for this rad movie review of Revealer. If you've seen this film, let me know in the comments section what you think of it. I would love to hear from all of you. And also be sure to like and subscribe so you get more videos like this, and poke that notification bell so you're notified anytime I post videos. But most importantly, I want you all to have a safe and happy day. Peace out.